So, what morally justifies removing someone's head who wanted to live?
Someone in
Yeah.
reference to who?
Oh, to the animals
Then
that we use.
you would be wrong by definition. Because
Oh, okay.
someone by definition is like unspecified person, right? And person is it's the meaning of individualized human being. So that animals, non-human animals, would not fall into this.
Okay. What classification would you like to use for animals that would be more comfortable for you?
Class, I mean, they would just be non-human animals. They wouldn't be
Are they a
people.
thing?
I guess they would be a thing. Yes.
So you consider like a table and an animal the same thing?
No.
Okay. So I would say that, well, I'll ask you, do you think that they're sentient?
Yes, animals are sentient.
Okay. What does sentient mean to you?
I would say being able to perceive feeling, pain, just the awareness that you're alive.
Okay, so I'll rephrase it. What morally justifies removing an individual that feels pain, removing their head who wanted to live?
Again, an individual represents is a representation of
Oh,
okay,
individual though doesn't mean human. So,
their head.
yeah. So we're
Some
talking about a being that can feel pain. What
uh
justifies removing their head when they wanted to live?
well, you're presupposing that they wanted to live in every single case.
So you're
So
telling me you think that the 92.2 billion animals that we raise for slaughter want to be unalive for you?
I can tell you whether or not they would
Do
or
you think
not.
those animals walk willingly to a knife, or do we have to subdue them and trick them?
I couldn't tell you. Right, I'm not a farmer.
Well,
Right,
I mean,
their
you
farmers
speak
would
as if
also
you know
agree.
how you as if you know that how animals think.
Well,
You
again,
said they're
well, we don't.
sentient.
Yeah, they're
So
sentient.
animals are sentient, which means that they do experience life and they make preferences on those experiences. So they typically show us signs that they don't like to be unalive. They don't like to be poked with sharp objects. They don't like to be pushed into confined spaces where they can't turn around or get away. So I could tell you that they don't typically like being unalived because we have evidence.
Sure.
So, what justifies you taking their one and only thing that they have, their experiences, away for taste pleasure?
Yeah, so I recognize that I can sustain myself off of eating meat, right? And I reckon also
Well,
recognize that there's harm in both diets, right? There's also harm in a vegan diet.
veganism isn't about harm, it's about not exploiting somebody, you know? It's about seeing animals as a sentient being
Wait,
who feels pain,
exploitation is not
means
harmful?
using, yeah, it's harmful.
Okay, so it is about harm then.
Right, but
You
exploitation
just said it wasn't.
specifically, it's not about just pain though. It's about taking someone's freedom. That's also exploitation.
Yeah, but is that not harmful? Is that also not
Sure, yeah,
painful?
if you want to make the word harm a general big I just don't want you to focus on pain.
Okay.
Okay. But it's also just about not paying for somebody to be enslaved, to be forced to be something that they themselves did not choose to be. I don't want to pay somebody to take advantage of someone who's vulnerable for my taste pleasure.
Yeah, but you're not directly paying these
When
farmers
you
to
give your
do these
money, do you know what
things.
supply and demand is?
Yes, I'm aware of supply and demand.
So when you go to that grocery store and you pick up any package, you're basically voting with your dollar and telling the store, I need more of this product because they're going to replace it so you buy more. When I buy the plant based products, they replace it with more plant based products. So you are paying for another animal to go through that system because they have to replace your package.
I mean, yes, that's kind of the point, but
So
you're
what
not
so what
like, well,
justifies you doing that? When you can live off of plants?
yeah, because I don't believe imposing a universal moral obligation on dietary choices because I feel that is absurd.
Yeah, I don't care about your diet. You can eat however you want. I'm talking about sentient beings not being exploited for your pleasure.
Yeah, and that's completely subjective, right?
Okay, so would someone say that probably in the slave times about slaves?
See, there were slavers that said that, right? There were people that said
So
it, but
why
there's
are you
also people
saying the
that
same
said
words as them?
when I said it's completely subjective, which is right, right? We
Yeah, they
understand
would say the
morals are
same thing. They'd be
subjective.
like, using someone who looks different from me is subjective on morality, right? It's subjective to me if using that person is moral or not. But
And
we all
this,
agree that using someone without their consent is immoral because they're having a subjective experience and they're making preferences, and it's not fair to force our wants on somebody who's experiencing the world. And it's
wait,
also, go
you
ahead.
just said, I'm glad you brought that last sentence up. It's not
Yeah.
fair to justify, not fair to force your wants on someone else.
Yeah. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm on TikTok. Like, I can't reach through my screen and force you to eat broccoli. But what I can say is if you share the same principle as me, that using someone who can't consent to their treatment, that using them is immoral because you're taking advantage of someone who might be vulnerable to you. If you agree with me that that's immoral, I'm telling you, animals have the same qualifiers. They're a sentient being experiencing the world. And just because they may not be up to par to some level for you because you draw the arbitrary line somewhere, that doesn't give you the right to cross their bodily autonomy and use them for your pleasure.
I mean, not necessarily because this will draw inconsistencies. For example, do you want people currently that's non-vegan to go to prison?
I didn't say that. I
But,
said that we
but
should
I'm asking
consider
you.
these individuals that can feel the world. And since
Wait,
we don't need to use them, we should stop.
wait. Are these animals right? Is this a dire situation, right? A lot of
Oh,
vegans
yeah,
say
it's
they're
dire.
victims.
92.2 billion animals are raised for slaughter every year. It's a
So
lot of
that's
beings.
a lot
There's
of
only
victims
8
there.
billion humans.
So you would say there's a lot of victims in this case, right? All right. So if
Absolutely.
this is a dire situation, it requires a dire consequence. So I'm asking you, do you believe that these
You're
people
just
that are
making a straw
contributing this,
man, though.
this
You're
is
like
not a
saying
strong
it
man. I'm
has
asking
to
you a
be this
question.
way. You are
There shouldn't
saying
be a
that.
consequence.
Doesn't have to be that way.
So
It's
there
more
shouldn't be a
like
consequence.
to make laws and change in policies, you have to have the population behind it. You have to have people vote for those things, right? Like, you can't just
But I'm
put martial
asking
law
you,
on
you
people.
personally. I'm asking you personally, right? Do you
Yeah.
believe there should be a consequence for non-vegans currently?
I think that people are unaware of the harm they're causing. So why would I throw someone in prison for not knowing what they're doing?
You think people are unaware?
I do. I
There's
think most
lots
people
of
don't know. I don't think most people know what animals go through for them.
No, I think people do know, right?
Okay,
I
well
think
then
people
tell
are
me this.
better.
What does a cow, what's a cow got to go through to produce milk?
It's a very disgusting process. I don't necessarily want to talk about it.
Oh, it's disgusting. Why is it disgusting?
I'm not sure if I can say those words on TikTok.
It's your food though, right? Like, what part of picking strawberries or carrots or broccoli or even soybeans, what part of that is disgusting?
Oh, well, the thing is that those said broccolis and carrots have to be protected from other sentient animals, right? That
Hmm.
includes insects, rodents, birds. That doesn't, there's all, yeah, there's pesticides that's also having to refer.
Yeah, I know. But most of our crops are fed to animals, so if you truly care about those crop deaths, you should go vegan because we would reduce our agricultural land use by 75%.
And no, I would just advocate for the fact that I would advocate for the fact that no matter what, there's going to be harm
Oh,
everywhere.
yeah. Yeah, that's true. Just existing causes harm. Yeah.
Uh,
Why does that give you the right though to like cause the most harm?
Why does it give me the right to cause the most harm? Because again, this is my choice. It's my decision.
It's your choice to cause other people suffering, and that's moral to you. You think that's okay for
Again,
your benefit?
using of people is different.
I mean,
People.
people are abused in the animal agriculture too. Like the people that have to cut up the animals, they have high rates of domestic abuse, alcoholism. A lot of the time, the crime rate goes up around a slaughterhouse. Those people have PTSD. Usually, the most vulnerable too.
But I'm not eating them, right? And also,
You're,
this is their
yeah, but you're
job.
you're you're paying for the industry to be there, for them to be, in those slaughterhouses. They're
Yeah, but they
usually
have a
taken
job,
advantage
do
of
they
because they
not?
can't get jobs elsewhere, right? But they then have to do jobs that they often don't want to do. And like I said, they get PTSD. They're in there. So I'll put it to you this way. When we see children causing animals unnecessary harm for fun, what do we think of those children?
Well, it depends, right? Me personally, I think it would be, oh, I need to correct this child's behavior, right?
What if
Other parents would
they continue to cut animals open because they think it's funny?
other parents would say, oh, children are just being children.
You think that that's what people would say if they saw a kid cutting animals open?
Not necessarily cutting animals open, but necessarily
That's what
like
I said. What if this kid is cutting kids or cutting animals open for fun?
they would just correct their behavior, right?
I'm asking you, do you think that would be moral and that we would think that that kid's totally normal?
But that depends in the
I
situation.
think that you're not being honest with me right now, and I'd like to have a
Am I
conversation
not being,
with
it
you being
depends on the
honest.
situation, right?
Because we all know that we would see that child as possibly needing help, not just being corrected, but help, right? There's something mentally wrong with someone who enjoys inflicting pain on animals. We're worried they're going to grow up to cause pain to humans,
Well,
right?
that's not, see, you're straw man because
So
that's
my point
completely
is,
different.
stop. That we do have concerns. You saw a kid causing harm to an animal. You ask anyone, they're gonna be like, "Oh, that's not good."
But that's not what you
So
said.
my point is, stop. My point is, we're paying people to work 4 to 8 hours a day, 4 to 6 days a week, doing this to animals. So if we
It's-
consider it harmful mentally that young children are doing this, why are we putting humans, adult humans, through that when we clearly see it also just causes this pattern of violence and, trauma? So we're causing trauma to our own kind as well as taking the life of sentient beings that are innocent and haven't even done anything to us.
Okay, so again, you were coming after me for straw manning, and this is exactly what you just did because I did not agree with
Okay,
any of
look,
that.
do
You
you agree
just
animals
said,
are sentient? I'm
you
gonna
just
kick you.
said,
I'm kind of bored with your conversation. You're
because you
just
can't
trying
have
to
a
dodge you don't want
conversation.
to take responsibilities for your violent choices.
No, because you're
You
making
are
a moral
demanding
obligation.
animals go into the scariest situation they could ever experience for your taste pleasures, and you don't even know why. So you know what? You
You
have a
don't even
great
know.
day. I'll see you later. I don't want to waste my time with you anymore.